Hi, I thought I'd make a quick video about the Fuji X-Pro1, and the main reason is that I've seen quite a lot online about it recently, and I thought I'd just add in a few thoughts of my own. Some of the things I'd seen online had got me thinking about what is it I really like about this camera, what does it mean to me? And first thing I should say is that I've had the camera about 18 months, so not a long time considering how long ago it was released, back in 2012. But I'm not a new kit buyer. I don't usually buy anything camera-wise new. I usually always buy stuff when it's been out for a while and the price has become what I consider to be a bit more reasonable. So I don't usually buy new kit anyway. And when I bought the X-Pro1, I had been using a Fuji X-T10, and I'd really enjoyed that, really liked the camera. And it's only relatively recently that I traded or sold the X-T10 and bought an X-T20, mainly for sort of better video features. And that's what I'm recording on now. So one of the main reasons I bought the X-Pro1 was because I wanted to try a rangefinder style digital camera. I was used to using rangefinders in film days, so wanted to give it a try, as I say, in the digital format. Having said that, I don't use the OVF, the optical viewfinder, very much. I use the electronic viewfinder almost all the time, although it is useful having the ability, for me I find it useful having the ability just to pick the thing up, put it to your eye, and because I use the 18mm f2 lens most of the time on this camera, that's, even without switching the camera on, the field of view you get through the OVF is pretty similar to what you actually get with the lens, with the 18mm lens. I find this camera very simple to use. Perhaps that's just me. I almost never go into the menus. I do use aperture priority almost all the time, and obviously having the aperture ring on the lens makes that very easy, and with the exposure compensation just there by your thumb. Yeah, it's a real simple little piece of kit to use. Produces obviously great results. The sensor, I think, is becoming legendary, although it's not got a huge number of pixels to it. It produces a beautiful image, more than you need if you're only doing things, computer based or small photo book based or whatever. It's pretty good for all that sort of stuff. These cameras, obviously, all of the Fuji X mounts give you access to a great set of lenses. I don't own that many. As I say, I use the 18 f2 on here most of the time. Sometimes I'll put the 27mm pancake on here. But I tend not to use longer lenses on this. The longer lenses just don't feel right. Although I do have used some of the more modern manual focus lenses from Mikey. And I find they're good. I enjoy using manual focus with this camera more than the other digital mirrorless cameras. That's good, I think. It just seems to work well with this particular camera. Not entirely sure why, although the focus peaking's not as good, I don't think, on here as it is on the X-T20, which is, one's a far more modern camera, so that's perhaps what you'd expect. I do use some vintage type lenses as well. I've got a Minolta 50mm f1.7 which I use on here. Again, using the adapter and manual focus seems to work well with this camera. One thing I should say that I have added to this camera which made a massive difference for my usage, and that's the Diopter Correction. It's, as the camera was as standard without the correction lens, it wasn't quite right for my eyesight. My eyesight's not that bad, but I do use glasses for reading, for example, so I am slightly short-sighted, and it took me a couple of goes to get the correct adjustment, but having the screw-in diopter, that's a Nikon one, but having the correct adapter for my eyesight made a big difference to me, to my enjoyment in using the camera. I'm sure most people who've seen this camera will be aware that, you know, the layout of it is very, very simple. So yeah, I can't see me selling this camera in the near future. I really enjoy it, and I think a camera that you enjoy is a camera that you'll probably produce good work with. So yeah, I love it. Very useful having two bodies. Having this and the X-T20 means I very rarely change lenses when I'm out and about. Sometimes it is necessary to if you want a telephoto view, to put a different lens on the X-T20, but for this one I often just leave this lens on here all the time, and it's great.